Welcome back to Delicious and Nutritious, where we use the best quality ingredients to cook the tastiest food. Today, what we are going to be cooking is going to be the chunky chef's recipe that's going to be the spicy Thai noodles. So this recipe is a little bit more of a basic recipe. However, I'm really excited for this one because I'm all into the vegetables. So I'm gonna be adding some vegetables to this mix, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So first and foremost, what we are going to need is a pound of linguine. So what I have here is going to be the brown pad Thai rice noodles. Obviously it's gonna be organic, really like these. So this is a net worth of 8 ounces. So in order for me to get this, I'm going to need 2 of these to make it 16. We are also going to need the crushed red pepper flakes. Like I said, this one is spicy, so if you're a little bit sensitive to spicy, you may want to consider doing something a little bit different. And then it's calling for 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Vegetable oil could be a myriad of different things. We are going to use refined coconut oil, my preferred oil that I do cook with, or you can do some type of butter or ghee. And then it's going to ask for some toasted sesame oil. So this particular one we have is going to be organic toasted sesame oil. And then we're gonna need chili paste. So I have sambal olek chili paste, which is gonna be ground fresh chili paste. And then next we're gonna be 8 tablespoons of soy sauce. So there's a bunch of different soy sauces. This one I have is gonna be liquid aminos from Bragg's brand. And then next we need tablespoons of honey. So this is going to require 6 tablespoons of honey. And then finally, she adds some things in the recipe. Obviously the recipe is gonna be pinned in the comments below for you guys. She says carrots, peanuts, cilantro, sriracha, sesame seeds, all great things. But I'm gonna add a couple different things. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use mushrooms, I'm going to use some broccoli, and I'm going to use some zucchini. Additionally, carrots are really good as well to just chop them up like little matchsticks. And the preferred method of cooking my vegetables is going to be steamed. I'm going to steam it. I already have the pot on over here that's already being heated up. And then we have the double steamer right here. So I'm able to cook 2 of them, or I could just use 1. It just depends what I want. And then we have ourselves a rainbow carrot. This is gonna be a white one. So if we're looking in order of what's gonna cook the fastest or slowest, because we need to know that first. So carrots are gonna be first, they take the longest. Broccoli is gonna be second. Zucchini and mushrooms are about the third. So we can't put them all in at the same time. We're gonna have mushy zucchini, and we're gonna have overly cooked mushrooms, and then we're gonna have just the right amount for the carrots and the broccoli. So we're gonna cut up this one first as we start to prepare. All right, so as far as cutting my carrots, I cut them in half, then I cut them in a 1/4, and then I'm gonna dice them down into the size that I want. And then finally, if I think they're too big, I'm gonna flip them on their side in groups of a 1/4 of it, and then I'm gonna chop them in half, and then I have the size that I'm looking for. Carrots are good to go. As soon as I get that water boiling, which is gonna be very close, I'm going to drop those right into the steamer, and I'm gonna start steaming them. And then we're gonna start working on the sauce, because this is a really quick recipe, so we wanna make sure that we allow this recipe to be quick and we're not going for. So broccoli, big fan of broccoli. Broccoli is amazing. I don't mind too much about the discoloration on broccoli, but you gotta make sure that you cut enough of the stem off so it doesn't become way too coarse when you're actually chewing this. And then for me, I just look in the broccoli and I chop it like this. And then if it's too big, then I'll go through and I'll re-chop. So I just kind of rotate. Like I said, if this is too big for you, is all you have to do, guys. Cut them even more. No big deal, bang. I like this recipe a lot. And then one last ingredient that I did not mention that I'm gonna throw in there is going to be arrowroot powder. And we have our broccoli done and then onto the zucchini, but it looks like the water is boiling. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my steamer grate. I'm going with the carrots first, and then eventually I'm gonna throw the broccoli in here as well. And then I will end up putting the zucchini in there for the bottom of this. So I'm gonna put the carrots on for about a minute, and then we're gonna be on to putting the broccoli in there, but we're gonna cut the zucchini. I love zucchini, especially in Asian type dishes. Big fan. You can use squash as well, the yellow. I'm just taking off the tops right quick, and I'm cutting these zucchini the same that I do cut the carrots. And if you guys are wondering, I'm using a Santoku knife right now. All right, so right now I need to put the broccoli in there. Here we go. So the carrots have been cooking. And now it is time for the broccoli to jump in with the carrots. At this point, it's not really that big of a deal if it stays together or not, because it's all eventually gonna go into the same place. And now it's time. We have our water heating up over there to start boiling the noodles. We need to start getting this whole thing going so we can make sure that it's efficient, it's ready to go. So the noodles, ready to go into the pot. We're gonna put them in there. We're gonna follow the directions on the back. I do have black noodle one as well, but if you wanna start with all the brown, because there's a slight different flavor here. And we have the zucchini chopped up and ready to go, and the grand finale is gonna be the mushrooms. How I prefer the mushrooms to be, I like big chunky mushrooms in any type of most of my food. Honestly, I'd never really chop them too fine, so I'm just going to quarter these mushrooms. Finally, we have all of our vegetables chopped up and ready to go, so we are done with this wonderful Santoku knife. Next, we are on to starting to really get down to the sauce. So we have those two things going and boiling. We have the pasta. We also have the vegetables. You don't want to overcook the vegetables. It looks like it's about time for us to put the zucchini and as well the mushrooms in there. And the grand finale, we have these two going in. Bam. That is going to make the dish right there. We're gonna heat the oil in here. So remember, it says 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. When I cook, I'm not super specific about it, but if you guys want to be super specific, a bigger spoon is usually about a tablespoon. So there's my 2 tablespoons sitting right in there. And then we're gonna heat the chili pepper flakes. She calls for 1/2 to 1.5 teaspoons of the red chili pepper flakes. So for me, that just depends how spicy you want it, is what I'm reading from that. So I'm gonna go right in the middle. So it looks like we are going to heat this oil up with the red chili pepper flakes over on the stove. Okay, so as all we're doing here with the oil, basically just heating up the oil with the chili flakes. As soon as that's done, I found these really nifty bowls at Bed Bath & Beyond, and I was like, what am I gonna need a perforated front of a bowl with a top part? And this is gonna come in perfectly because it says strain the oil out. So all I'm gonna have to do is pour that oil into here, dump it back in there, and then we're gonna add the chili flakes, the soy sauce, and the honey to that mixture. So the oil is hot. You wanna be very cautious here because it will definitely start to burn. So we're gonna go ahead and drain that right there, as much oil as possible. Once again, using a silicone pad, great way to get the addition. Look how much extra oil we would have got there if I didn't use this type of thing. Now that we have the oil sitting in there, and we're not gonna be able to filter out all that, but for the most part, it's gonna filter out a lot of that, and then we're gonna use the silicone spatula as well to really try to get as much oil back as possible. And you can see right in there, all of the flakes sitting right on top. Okay, onto the hot part. We have our oil right here. We're going for 1.5 teaspoons of chili paste. And then we have the honey. This is gonna be 6 tablespoons of honey. So I'm just gonna be eyeing this. I'm not going all the way for 6 just because I don't want it super sweet. I'm more of a fan of saltier. So that's probably 3 right there. 2.5. I'm gonna go and grab 1 more, and then we're gonna have to whisk this together. All right, and then we need 6 tablespoons of your soy sauce. And it says whisk together, but I'm just gonna use a spoon and stir it. And so there you have it. This is basically what the sauce is gonna look like. It's gonna be a little bit more liquidy. This is the time that you would add in the arrowroot powder. The arrowroot powder is gonna make it a little bit more thick of a sauce. Here goes our 1/2 teaspoon of arrowroot powder. I prefer it a little thicker. Okay, and then we did heat it up a little bit. So if you guys do wanna see, it has a little bit more of a congeal feel as opposed to just being straight liquid. So we have everything in there as far as the sauce goes. And this one is hot, so we're ready to start mixing it all together. So if you're adding vegetables and you prefer to have vegetables, I say to put the vegetables in first. I love when my vegetables hold the flavor of the sauce. I think it's a really good addition. All right, here we go for the sauce. Stirring it up, and then I'm gonna cook this a little bit. We're gonna cook this for a couple minutes, really let the sauce cook into the vegetables. And then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna finish it up, toss in the pasta, and we'll pretty much be done. Okay, and here we have it. This is going to be it. I think it's perfect right now. Separating those two, we had the carrots and the broccoli that went first. This looks absolutely fantastic right now. And then finally we have our pasta. Our pasta is going to be put in there. And this, we're just working it through. Notice how it came in a big clump. You guys might be like, ooh, that doesn't look very appetizing. It's pasta, guys. It's gonna take on some of the liquid that is in here, a little bit from the vegetables. And then this recipe called for 1/3 to 1/2 cup of sesame oil. I am not going all in like that. I'm gonna do approximately 1.5 tablespoons, and then I'm gonna stir it and see where I'm at. So let's go ahead and try it, see where we're at right here. We have everything in there. Seems like it's a little bit more of the black rice. That's really good. I'm a massive fan of this dish. Here we go. Serving it up for delicious, nutritious, spicy Thai noodles, added vegetables. Comes out great. Everything is perfectly done. And then if you guys want to add some type of protein in there, feel free to chop up some chicken, throw it in there. It will definitely take on the flavor and the body from the sauce. So thank you guys for taking some time out of your day for cooking this recipe with me. I'm excited to cook more delicious and nutritious recipes together. You guys already know what we're doing here. We are changing the world one bite at a time. I'm gonna see you guys out on the next video. Peace.